Hey, it's Barça here, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about Barcelona's players at the World Cup in Qatar, and in particularly who I think will shine the most and show the world his true quality. There's obviously some players who don't really need to prove themselves to the world anymore, but some of our players are maybe a bit underrated by some fans. And this World Cup is the exact place where they can prove themselves in front of the whole world. So make sure to stay tuned, as this is definitely going to be interesting. Robert Lewandowski, let's start with him. Poland are in quite a difficult group with Argentina, Mexico and even the mighty Saudi Arabia, so it's looking quite tricky for Lewandowski and his teammates. But regardless of Poland's results in their final ranking, I think Lewandowski will have a great tournament, and he should be able to score 3 or more goals in the group stage games. He doesn't really have to prove anything at this point either. We all know how good he is, and it's a no-brainer that he will have an important role for Poland, and he's not leaving this World Cup without any goals. So no matter what happens with Poland, he'll definitely leave his mark in this World Cup. Next, Frenkie De Jong is definitely a player who could have a great tournament in Qatar. He's been quite good up till now this season in different positions for Barcelona, and for the Netherlands he generally performs well too. Matter of fact, he's easily one of their most important players, and when you look at the Netherlands right now, they are in quite good form and they might surprise some people. In their group they should finish first, now Senegal are missing Sadio Mane, and after that they might become the dark horse of the World Cup. It is possible. In that case though, they would need to be at their best, and that means they would need Frenkie De Jong at his very best too. If they really get far into this tournament, Frenkie De Jong might become one of the players of the tournament, and after some mediocre years at Barcelona, or at least that's what the media have made it look like, he was decent to say the least last couple of years, he's got a chance now to show the world again what he's truly made of, and become one of the sensations of the World Cup. It is possible, and I kinda hope that it happens too, cause Frenkie De Jong in the form of his life is definitely a player that our midfield could use. And then we've got to talk about Ousmane Dembélé. I think he could either have a very mediocre World Cup and not play that much, or he could be France's secret weapon and help get them far into the tournament. It's difficult to say, cause Dembélé is basically the most unpredictable player there is. If there's one thing he lacks, it's consistency. But do you need consistency in a World Cup? Not as much as in La Liga, that's for sure. In a tournament like this, a lot of games are determined by luck and by individual greatness, as well as team spirits. Team spirit is something France maybe lack a bit right now, but individual greatness, I mean, just look at the squad. They've got an abundance of it. And Dembélé is the type of player who can decide a game by just one individual action, even when he's having a bad game. So in this World Cup he might have some decisive moments, just 2 or 3 moments in the whole tournament that might make a big difference. And then he would kind of be a hero for France, and be one of the players that people remember from the World Cup in Qatar. But if there's one country that we've got to look out for as Barca fans, it is Spain. We've got 8 Barcelona players. Okay, most Barca fans are probably most excited about Argentina right now, with Messi who's got his final chance of winning the World Cup. But apart from that, Spain is definitely the most Blaugrana. Pedri is obviously the one to look out for most. But honestly, the world already knows what he's capable of after the Euros in 2021 and his time in Barca thus far. He has improved though compared to his version at Euro 2020, and I think quite some people are not really seeing how much he's actually improving. Sure, everyone knows that he's amongst the best talents in the world, but honestly he's far past that point already. He's basically just one of the best midfielders in the world right now. You shouldn't compare him to Musiala or Bellingham, rather to De Bruyne or Modric. And right now it's a World Cup, it's his chance to show that to all of the people who have missed out on his progress this year. Then there's Gavi. He's not really underrated right now, surely not after winning the Golden Boy Awards. Some people have started to call him overrated and overhyped though, and that's not really the case either. He's deservedly being named amongst the likes of Musiala and Bellingham, if you ask me. And yep, this tournament is the exact place for him to prove that. I don't know with what midfield Luis Enrique will go, but if it's Pedri and Gavi, then they might very well show the world why there's so much hype around them, and shut down the critics. I'm not going to go over every player, but Spain's got one more player who might prove himself at this World Cup. Nope, I'm not talking about Ansu Fati. I mean, I would love it if he gets back into the form of his life, but if there's one attacker that might leave his mark, it might be Ferran Torres. And I know that's quite an unpopular opinion. For Spain though, he's often quite important, so if they get far into this tournament, it will be with Ferran Torres who's decisive in the big moments. At the Euros in 2021 he was actually great, as well as in the finals of the Nations League last year, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him have a big impact. And I know his finishing isn't that great, but his positioning is world class. He always gets into the right spaces at the right time, his link-up play is great, his dribbling is great too. He's surely a great player who can pose a threat to the defense. And since Spain's attack isn't that strong, they will need him to be at his best too, to get far into this tournament. So he might just rise to the occasion and have a great World Cup, which would definitely silence a lot of the haters and make doubtful Barca fans rethink their opinion about him. There's of course others like Koundé and Rafinha who could have a great World Cup too, but if there are Barca players that will leave their mark, then I'd say it's Lewandowski, Frenkie De Jong, Dembélé, Pedri, Gavi and Ferran Torres. Some of them might not, others might really surprise the world. It's definitely going to be interesting to see how this World Cup will turn out for them. That was it for today's video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed it, and feel free to share your own opinion in the comments down below. Força Barça and have a good day.